Hello friends, it's been a while since I've recorded a video and today is a Valentine and I had this huge urge to record something for you, a new video. And I've been working as a clinical hypnotherapist and a counselor for over 17 years, and I'm noticing that especially around New Year, January and February, a lot of people are struggling with their careers, and they're struggling because they're not really doing something that they're born to do. And studying Ayurveda for over 5 years, and Ayurveda is a philosophy that came from India, and it's 3 years old, and it's 3,000 years old, and it's a spiritual type of philosophy. And a lot of times I refer to it to explain a lot of things, especially when it has to do with relationship between man and a woman, relationship between parents and children, and also even the purpose in life. And today that's what I would really like to talk about, even though it's a Valentine and I could have been talking about following what is the difference between love and being in love, which I'm planning to record in a few weeks. But today I would like to do a short video talking about your purpose. So if you can, grab a notepad and a pen and take notes, because when we write information, when we're learning, we're actually remembering that information much longer, 3 months longer than when we're typically just listening to the new information. So we're going to talk about 4 different Varnas. Ayurveda been written in Sanskrit, and so I will be referring to Sanskrit language to certain definition, but I will be explaining what Varna is. Varna, if we translate it exactly, means a color. But also Varna is referred to your occupation. And in Ayurveda, it's, if we're looking at the deeper meaning, it's your purpose in life. The Varna that you're born into, doing certain things. And so again, there's 4 Varnas. The first Varna called Brahman. Second one is Kshatri. Third is Vaishya. And fourth is Shudras. And so we're going to talk about 4 different Varnas. And the first one is Brahman. Brahman are people 3,000 years ago. They used to be like a consultants to kings. They were not getting paid, because if they get paid, they would not be honest. And the whole purpose of Brahmans to be honest and to bring an awareness and raise the consciousness. So these are people who are typically priests, psychologists, teachers, but people who are really bringing the teaching and awareness to the society, and they're passionate about it. True Brahman will always have followers and students, and people listen to them. Also, how you know if you're Brahman or someone else is Brahman is some people don't like Brahmins, because Brahmins are always honest. Unless they're working for someone and that someone is paying them money, they could be dishonest in order to keep their job. And that's why Brahmins typically should work for themselves, because then they really follow their true mission. And if we're looking at the body, Brahmins are the brain of the society. They're committed to enlightenment, bringing the consciousness to the transformation and bringing the goodness. And because they are the brain of the body, they're actually closer to God. And also how you know the person is Brahman. For example, Brahmins could be doctors. but the doctors who are really constantly learning and educating other doctors. And if Brahman is teaching, they're giving a little piece of them, and they have tremendous power, because through that information, person can get enlightened, they can awake, they can really learn and grow and expand. Other people, if they're teaching, they're just giving you information, but they don't give a little bit of the piece of them that will really give you that enlightenment, and that will make you take action or shift your way of being. And that's how you know they're Brahmins, that they have this power of education, enlightenment, and bringing you this shift or transformation. Now let's shift to the second Varna, which is Kshatri. Kshatri used to be kings, and they are the arms of the body. These are natural born leaders, they are managers, and these people are standing for justice. For example, if you see that something is wrong happening in a crowd, Brahman will look at it and will say something about it. But Kshatri will come and take an action to stop the fight or bring justice, and they could be even cruel. If they have to, they will even punch someone who is doing wrong. And that's how you know they're Kshatri. I have a friend of mine who I can tell right away he's a Kshatri, because when he calls us, me and my friends, and we go camping or go hiking, he will immediately say, you bring water and drinks. You make sure that you bring some kind of game so we can play. And you bring meat so we can cook. So he organizes everyone. And sometimes he could be even rude in the way he asks things. But we accept that because he really wants everyone to have a good time. And therefore, we fully accept his leadership, even though sometimes, most of the time, he's not polite about it. And that's how Kshatris are. If you are a natural born Kshatri, you will be a really great politician. You will be a really good manager, a leader, and people will trust you and follow you. The third Varna, called Vaishya. And Vaishyas are people who are naturally born businessmen. They see opportunity to make money all the time, even if it's risky. And everybody would look at the situation and say, no way, please do not invest money in the stock. It's so dangerous. But they see opportunity, they study about it, they watch others, and they will take that risk. And even if it's not gonna work, they're gonna do it again and again, and they will never have debt. True Vaishya never have debt. They always have money, they know where to invest, how to invest, even though sometimes they're gonna make a mistake, but then they quickly bounce back. And the examples of true Vaishyas are Walt Disney. No matter how many times he was bankrupt, he was still making millions of dollars. Same thing as a Donald Trump. But at the same time, a lot of politicians that we see, if they're Vaishya, it doesn't mean that they're Kshatris. And just having a lot of money doesn't mean that they could be a really good leaders. And I'm not talking about Donald Trump. I'm just talking about in general. Because again, for a true leadership of the country or of the company, people need to be really born into Varna Kshatri. And people who are really good with money and they always see the opportunity to make money is Vaishya. And the next and last Varna is Shudra. Shudras are people who are really strong. They're built strong. They are not afraid of physical activity, and they're not afraid to do things with their hands naturally. But they're also people who are very good in service. They could be also really great athletes, singers, artists. They know one craft and they're very good at this craft. And if we're looking at the body, then Shudras are the legs of the body. And I forgot to say that Vaishya is the stomach, digestive system of the body. And so Shudras are very good at being either architect or engineers or mechanical engineers or singer or artist or athletes. They know one craft and they should do that craft. And we see sometimes a lot of athletes who retired, they go into being speakers, but that's not their Varna. And so that never works out. And so Shudras gotta accept that they're good in that craft. And if these athletes retire and become trainers, they become really fabulous. But otherwise, it doesn't really work out. And so, and going back to Vaishya, Vaishyas are really good with money, and they should be consultants of the money. They should be bankers and businessmen. But if Vaishya tries to become doctors or become psychologists, because when I was in school, I was studying with two, I will call them now boys because it's been years ago. And I could tell that they were not interested in psychology or counseling or hypnotherapy at all. And so as soon as they graduated, they opened several offices and started making a lot of money. And I was really shocked and surprised. How can they really make money? Because they were just good. They knew the right location. They knew how to do the correct marketing. And so they became very successful. However, when Vaishya tries to become a psychologist, even though they know the marketing and they can create a really beautiful offices and design, they cannot be psychologists because they don't have that power of the consciousness that Brahmins do. And so they can just learn information and give the information, but just giving the information doesn't really bring the enlightenment or the transformation or the shift. And that is the job of Brahmins. And Brahmins are not motivated by money. They get fulfilled when students are learning, and they're always hungry to learn. They're constantly studying, they're learning, and a lot of times they're very close to spirituality. They're learning the spirituality because they're the brain of the body, and they're trying to rise themselves in order to bring that also enlightenment and consciousness to others. Also, I get a lot of questions with my clients when I give them those 4 different Varnas, and once they realize what their Varna, that gives them a huge shift, because one of my clients is working as a manager in a medical office, and she is so uncomfortable because she's in a position also of a leader and a manager, but she's really passionate about day-to-day organization, but really doesn't like leading or managing people because she's not Kshatri. She's really a Shudra, and Shudra likes a certain skill, and she's really good at it. But at the same time, she feels like if she's not gonna take a managerial position, she's not gonna be making a lot of money. And so she feels like she's stuck. But knowing this now, her Varna and her distinction of Varna, she has to take full responsibility that maybe it's not the right job. And maybe she can concentrate on what she's truly passionate about, is yoga. It's really the exercise, and she's really good day-to-day operation. So maybe she can be the yoga instructor or have her own program with yoga and physical fitness, and altogether maybe leave the medical field. But again, it's just an inquiry, because a lot of times people are also get confronted when they realize that they're doing something that they're not passionate about, and that's not their own Varna, and it's not their purpose of what they're doing. So this is something to think about. Also, I get a question that I forgot to share and answer. Some people are asking, can you be in two Varnas? Yes. For example, Tony Robbins is definitely a Brahman. He's the consciousness of the society and people, but at the same time, he's Vaishi. He's good in managing. Well, obviously not he's managing. He has other people who manages his business, but he's good at that. But I would say that Tony Robbins probably 70% Brahman and 30% Vaishi. And if you are not certain what is your Varna, please ask me a question and I'll be happy to answer it if I can talk to you. And with that said, have a wonderful 2021. I wish you all happiness. I wish you all love. And I look forward to sharing with you more information, more knowledge from Ayurveda. With that said, namaste.